All right. I think we are finally ready to go. It took me a minute to get this thing started and rocking and rolling, but pretty decent announcement for creators today. If you were tuned in and saw anything of what Apple had to offer, this is a pretty significant increase, not only in performance, but also the ports. All of our ports are, not all, but a lot of our ports are back. And so I want to talk about the specs of what that looks like and make sure that we can get in here and talk about what the port situation means to us as creators. So super excited to kind of hop in on this live stream, do a little testing and experimentation in terms of what's going on. What's up, Jordan? How you doing, buddy? And really just kind of have this discussion about what it looks like from a creator standpoint. They made a ton of emphasis. If you didn't check out what's going on in terms of the developer conference or the video that came out today about the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips, they made a huge emphasis on pro level users. So that's really what this live stream is here to discuss as well, is pro level users that would be considering a new MacBook Pro. We haven't seen M1 Pro chips or M1 Max chips set to go into any other Mac lineup, not Mac Minis, which would actually be really cool to me. Definitely hasn't hit any of the iMacs yet or the Mac Pros. I'm sure everything will follow in suit, but just crazy numbers that they were throwing up on the screen. And then the actual profile and the devices themselves seem pretty rad. So I want to click over here and just take a look in terms of what's going on. Nice. M116. I think the 14 one's for me, but I'll take a look at that in a second. So, but again, here we go. Supercharged for pros, just the value proposition that they end up talking about right up front. Most powerful MacBook ever. That's standard language that we're seeing from Apple. Obviously, everything they do is the most incredible thing ever. But definitely super fast chips, M1 and M1 Max. And then the first silicon designed for pro level performance. Liquid Retina display on these MacBook Pros, which is incredible. Best camera in the MacBook ever, which obviously to me is kind of inconsequential. This camera is what you guys have been seeing. It's a full mirrorless DSLR, so I don't really care about that stuff so much. Who actually is using that camera thinking that it's going to be something significant? I don't think that there's a huge population of people that are using it being like, man, I wish the camera was better for my camera. I don't know, what are you actually doing here? Anyway, starting at $2,000, which actually is not that unreasonable, but we all know that once you get something crazy specced out, that things would change just a little bit more than that. So in any event, let's take a look at some more specs just down here. I love these new Apple designs for the website. And as you continue to scroll, you're controlling what's happening in these profiles. But already they listen to so many of our concerns as pro-level creators. Magsafe Charging was so clutch. I can't tell you how many times my 7 and 6-year-old kid have kicked out the Magsafe charger with the newer Macs with the USB-C charging. We just nuke those cables all of the time. Not only is it kind of dangerous, but it's also incredibly inconvenient. Snapping a USB-C port inside or cable inside of the port would suck hard. Anyway, so now we have the MagSafe is back. We have SD card readers, which is crazy awesome. I still know that only a fraction of the creators that I'm around are using CFast Express, both Type A and Type B. SanDisk is kind of the leader in that, or the Sony Tough cards in terms of high capacity, high data rate cards. Most of them are still in that SD card range. I'm sure that'll change sometime soon, but having an SD port inside this thing, it's been 2 generations of MacBook Pros that we've seen that have not had some sort of slot on the side, which is a huge pain in the ass. So thank you for bringing that back. Thank you for hearing us. MagSafe and the SD card reader. And then we have 3 different USB-C type ports on this thing and an HDMI cable, which is amazing. Not a cable, but the port. You understand what I'm talking about, right? So got a ton of different connectivity options, which is amazing. I know I've always said, give me a little bit thicker of a screen or a computer so that I can have more of these ports. Thinness and lightness doesn't necessarily matter to me. You guys are already ahead of the curve where that's concerned, right? And then look at this thing, up to 3.5 or almost 4 times faster CPU performance, 13 times faster graphic performance, 11 times machine learning. and an incredible battery life to boot. Here you go with the ports again, kind of a shorter, or I guess a faster profile view of that thing back into the headphone jacks. Amazing. M1 and M1 Pro Max. Look at this, up to 10 cores CPU, 16 cores GPU, 10 cores CPU, and 32 core GPU on the Max and Pro respectively. Now this truly is pro level specs inside of a laptop. We've had versions, and right now what you're seeing are certain types of things where you can have, 8 core processing, but only 8 gigabytes of VRAM. You have 8 core processing and 16 gigabytes of VRAM with, up to 16 gigabytes of RAM inside the new M1 minis and in the MacBooks. That's just not enough. When you start doing graphic intensive things like After Effects, Cinema 4D, any of those types of things, it's just not enough. So it's great to see this type of performance in such a thin profile. It's really something that you could actually start to really consider using from a pro level. At this point, what I'm talking to you guys through is a fully built PC. It's 2 years old. It's already spec'd to the max of what it was then, and I'm already in need of something that's probably double, if not 2.5 times the price, around $4,000 to $5,000 to get this thing to equal what that looks like. And it's locked here at the desktop. I don't mind that. I have other machines that I use for this stuff, but it's great to know that something like this is coming and that it's something that's ready. And Jordan just said that his buddy already ordered one today. Amazing. So we'll go back to our screen shares, right? Incredible specs that we're seeing from this thing. I really wonder what it would look like completely spec'd out. Jordan, I don't know if your boy actually discussed pricing with you, but I can't imagine it'd be anything less than $3,000. 32 unified memory, 16 cores, 200 gigabyte memory bandwidth. All this stuff is just incredible. Up to 20 streams of 4K ProRes video playback. It's really clear that they're making this for top level creators and people that have high capacity workflows. You talk about app developments, scary fast, all these different things that we've got going on. Again, here's a spec bump in terms of the M1 Max and what that looks like. Everything about this stream that they had, all of the visualizations that we're seeing here as well, are all indications of who this product is for. They're making no qualms about what that looks like. 4 times faster render speed. 4K render speeds on the 14-inch model. You're getting 13.4 times faster in 32 core GPUs. I'm just spitting specs here. You guys know the deal as well if you're looking at this thing. It's just an incredible display of what they're capable of doing with these types of things. The M1s were already super fast. It was incredible the performance that we got in terms of what those specs look like for such a small form factor on those chipsets. But it's really incredible to see that they're putting this type of stuff going on. What's up, Oscar? How you doing, man? Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, gaming-wise, it's definitely not... It doesn't seem like it's geared towards gaming, right? Just to be very fair and very frank about this doesn't seem like it's something that they're looking at trying to make an impact in terms of your ability to play, crazy games on something like that. The 120 hertz refresh, 120 refresh hertz display that you're seeing is a step in that direction, but also obviously that has tremendous benefits for us as creators as well. So, hi, what's up, Ash? ProRes Accelerator is unbelievable. I'm still wanting to make sure that I can get ProRes in all of the codecs and the cameras that we're shooting from a workflow standpoint. Not all the cameras that I have that, but I saw that and basically had to go change my pants. It was pretty amazing. So I just can't get over the specs that we're seeing on this thing. Again, I kind of want to build one out in terms of what I could see capacity-wise and see if that's worth it. This kind of comes at a perfect time for me because I need a smaller unit at my other office. And so I'm looking at Mac Minis, the M1 Mac Minis, and it seems like a viable solution for that. Hooking up a crazy NAS drive that I keep here at my house that's dedicated for the desktop that I have, but it's accessible wherever I am, both in my MacBook Pro, which is the 13-inch 2019 version, my Mac here, or my PC here, and then my Mac Mini that I get to take to the other office. Now I kind of have this consideration. Maybe I get a full spec'd out 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, and have that just be the runner that goes back and forth, and get a display port, one of the little docking stations that I can just leave my thing as a shark fin and have that run. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I think to me, Nice 14-inch for sure. I think, Ash, that's the one that I want too, is a 14-inch. I still like the compact form factor 90 times out of 10, that if I'm using my MacBook, I'm traveling, so I need it to be small and quick to get in and out of TSA, because I hate that. But it's a pretty amazing thing. So I'm stoked to see the focus on creator workflows and how impressive these things look. I'm really interested to see exactly the specs that I want to have in terms of what my machine would look like and what the price point is, and if it's worth it in terms of getting rid of what I currently have and foregoing a Mac Mini M1 and making sure that this thing is the only machine that I have and just leaving that at the office. So I'm curious to see what you guys think down in the comments. I just wanted to go live and talk about the spec bump. I'm sure most people that are watching this have already seen it, but if you haven't, leave a comment in terms of what your favorite thing is down below. If you're watching the playback of this live stream, which I'm sure some people are. Incredible stuff. So happy to see us again, not only with ports, with the speed, with the compact form factor, and with the horsepower to get something done. They're definitely focusing on creators, which is nice. I feel like they kind of left us a little bit. Your boy is like, I got Macs all over the place and I'm editing off of PC. I just felt, I felt like my girl stepped out on me a little bit over the last couple of years, and Mac just not paying attention to us in a nice price point. Now I feel like we're finally getting back into that thing in terms of the performance bump and what we're getting in the price point. So, yeah, I hope so too. Oscar, I'd love to know more about what your creator needs are doing, buddy. But I appreciate the watch and you guys kind of taking the time to see what's going on with this one. I'm going to wrap it up here. Don't want to go too long and belabored on this thing, but love to hear what you guys are thinking. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it all those fun little details, and we'll be going live a lot more often. So if you guys dug this one, let me know in the comments about how it looked, how it seemed, and how we can improve this type of thing. So hopefully everything's good. I'll see you the next live. I'm going to go when we start talking about Sony's new camera release, which I think is the A7 Mark IV. So maybe we'll just kind of simultaneously watch that thing as it's happening. So I'm going to end the stream here. You guys are great. We'll see you in the next one. Deuces.